They've got so much veteran leadership on the court that this won't faze them. If anything, I'd be a little nervous if I was Texas A&M that Penn State is about to come up a very, very fired up team.
Well, let's hope for everybody in this arena that we see another tight set.
It's been a lot of fun.
It's
been a lot of fun, and it's only been one set.
And there's a great crowd on hand here to witness it tonight. Bill Connor gets it started for Texas A&M. Allie Francie sends it over from the back row. Going to get a double hit call on that one, and Camille Connor knew as soon as she touched it, she was going to get called on that.
But again, serve receive issues for Penn State. They had to basically free ball that over. Franny was able to get a swing on it, but flat-footed from the back row.
Dietering serves it into the net, and I feel like we're not seeing the intensity from Dietering that we saw from her last night.
We saw a lot of fire from Abby Dietering last night, and she does look, she's not being quite as efficient as she was against Stanford. She is one of the best servers for Penn State. Coach Rose told us before this match, but he wasn't happy with her serving last night, and it really hasn't gotten better today.
Simone Lee with the swing for Penn State. Holland Hans is going to be blocked, but it's going to go out of bounds.
Holland Hans doing a nice job swinging on the outside. That's her 4th kill for the day for Texas A&M, and she knows there's a big block in front of her. Did a nice job with the tool.
Washington running the slide. A&M is there for the dig. Simone Lee had to run that free ball down, but then gets her footing under her and makes something out of it.
She's such a talented outside hitter. That was a really tough spot by Holland Hans with the free ball, but as you said, Lee was able to just pop it up and still get outside to take a nice swing.
8 kills now for the senior, hitting .538. Going to be an ace for Penn State.
Penn State only with 1 ace in the first set. They missed a lot of serves in that first set. Now, that's something I'm sure Coach Rose had to say during the huddle, was serving has got to get better.
There's Sanders on the right side for Texas A&M, so the freshman with her 3rd kill of this match.
Penn State outblocked Stanford last night, but right now there's not a lot of, it's not solid enough. They're having some trouble blocking Texas A&M's hitters.
Franti, that's one of the harder swings we've seen from her tonight.
Texas A&M's having trouble blocking some of Penn State's hitters. That's a really, really tough swing. It was a beautiful set. She was able to just light that one up.
So A&M blocking. Not there early on in the second set. Penn State with a 1-point lead. That's going to be a serving error for Washington. And do you feel like Penn State's playing a little tight as they did against Stanford last night at the beginning, or can you get a sense
it wasn't until the 3rd and 4th set that I thought Penn State really turned it on. Even though they lost that 3rd set, they looked good in the second. See, 6 service errors for Penn State so far, and we are just now at the beginning of the second set.
Allie Francie has turned it on, though, here for Penn State, her 4th kill.
And, this is the senior. This is somebody, and we mentioned they have a lot of seniors, but one of them needs to step up, and right now that's Allie Francie, and she's saying, hey, let's go. We are the number 5 team in the country. This needs to be our set that we take.
She crossed the 1,000-kill mark last weekend. Said she didn't know it was coming, and it happened. It was like, okay, that's great. That's the kind of player she is.
I've got another game to play.
Holland Hans is blocked. Going to go right back to her. Back row for Simone Lee, and oh my goodness, what a shot.
She absolutely flies from the back row, Casey.
I think her goal was to hit it as hard as she can off that block.
She's hitting better out of the back row right now than she is out of the front row.
Incredible shot, and serve receive error for Texas A&M. So Penn State now taking advantage of these errors that A&M has made, and it only takes a few, and now Penn State has a 3-point lead. Weiss Kirscher into set for Penn State. Camille Connor with another dump. Dietering roll shots it. McKenna Patterson tries that same shot that worked for her in the first set, but it did not work this time.
And Camille Connor has got to figure out where she is going to put that dump, because right now she is sending it right at Penn State defenders and making it way too easy.
Lori Corabelli wants to talk about it. We'll take a timeout with him. Penn State up by 4 here. A&M won the first set. We'll be back with the rest of the second set here in just a minute.
What does FanDuel do to your football season? Same thing cheese, guac, beans, salsa, and beef do to chips. Makes it better. Contests start from $1. You can play against your friends or even compete for a share of $1 million. Play to win tickets to games and incredible fan experiences. FanDuel. It's the fully loaded nachos your daily fantasy football game's been waiting for. Try FanDuel today for free. No deposit required. Use promo code SNAP for a free shot at $10,000 in cash prizes.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain or knee pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace or knee brace covered by Medicare at little to absolutely no cost to you. Will you qualify for a Medicare-covered back brace or knee brace? There's only one way to find out.
Call the Back and Knee Brace Center at 1-800-803-8513.
Back in College Station, A&M trailing Penn State after winning the first set, down by 4 here in this second set. And Texas A&M hauling hands with 4 kills for the Aggies, but Caitlin Blake has 4 kills as well.
She's not on the court right now because of rotation, but watch for her when she comes back in. This is an All-American, honorable mention from last season. She was also All-SEC and on the South Region team. She led the SEC with 1.52 blocks per set. And Casey, I think that's where, if anything, Blake needs to come through during this set for Texas A&M, is getting that block going again for the Aggies.
Hands is blocked, and there's Penn State showing a lot of emotion, especially Dietering after that shot.
Dietering puts up a pretty good block considering she is only listed at 6 foot. The girl can jump, let me tell you, and she did a great job of setting that block.
Overpass that A&M blocks. Camille Connor went up with that ball, and timing was just perfect for it.
Heidi Thielen decided to go right back in front of her, and McKenna Patterson was able to just go straight up and block the ball. Both teams with 3 blocks right now.
Hands with a tough serve, and it's going to be an overpass that Kiara McGee takes advantage of. So serve, receive, serve, receive, serve, receive.
Absolutely. That is, if you're looking at an issue with either team, that's it. Serve, receive, and you're going to start seeing some players shift around, moving around, trying to get people in the right spots, because right now some people are really struggling.
Another great dig from A&M defensively, but the tip just gets pushed out.
Camille Connor just got kind of spun around. It was a really nice touch by Amy Hauser in the back row for Texas A&M. And Connor was able to get a hand on it, but because her body was not in a good position, she was unable to get it back into the court.
There's the dunk from Camille Connor that we expected to see, and this time she puts it down where she should have.
And I think that's what she's been trying to do most of the day, but this one's a perfect pass for her to do it. It's nice and tight. Penn State did not go up and contest it.
And the timing was great. Getting momentum back on your side is what A&M needs to do. Penn State wants to fight it. Simone Lee on the outside. Back row for A&M. Connor again with the swing. Simone Lee dug by Amy Nettles for the Aggies. Lee again, and blocked down to the ground, and there's the blocking from Caitlin Blake that you mentioned earlier for Texas A&M.
I think this was all Camille Connor on the outside, Casey. What a beautiful dig by Amy Nettles here to start things off for Texas A&M. Kiara McGee with a good tip. It just wasn't in the right spot. Simone Lee swung hard, but right into the heart of Camille Connor's block.
Another overpass on serve receive. McGee a little high. I think she was going off, trying to get off the hand.
There is a lot of adrenaline pumping through this gym right now.
Yes.
You can absolutely feel it. And so sometimes when a hitter has that much going, they're going to have a few mishits. And that's what happened with Kiara McGee right there.
Both teams spreading the love in terms of who's getting these sets right now. There's not one player who's standing above everybody else. Lee puts it down to the ground, except Lee, and now she is in double digits with 10 kills.
I was going to say, Lee would
Except
disagree.
her.
She's
Yes.
definitely having a day. She's got 10 kills on the day, only 2 errors. She's hitting .444 right now, and you can see emotion on her that we did not see last night against Stanford.
She didn't have her best night last night, and she's making up for it here tonight. Back row, hauling hands. Lee with the tip. Dietering just takes it on the second shot. Advantage of being a left-handed setter, and a block from Dietering, and Washington finishes the point off for the Nittany Lions.
As you mentioned, an advantage to being left-handed. Camille Connor also left-handed for Texas A&M, and it makes it a lot easier to go over on that second ball. Dietering also a very good blocker. She helps Haley Washington set that block, and Kiara McGee is unable to get it through.
Connor again. You can tell Weiskircher was ready this time. And Amy Nettles thought that one was going to go long, and now that opens up a 5-point lead here for Penn State.
Simone Lee is absolutely on fire right now. She put that ball in the perfect spot, such a hard spot on the court to defend, middle back. And Simone Lee is doing everything so well that it's opening up even more shots for her.
Well, we're here in College Station, about 90 miles north of Houston, and as you know, Houston area, there were thousands affected by Hurricane Harvey, and so those people, they need urgent support right now. Help the American Red Cross by providing meals and shelter to these families. You can donate today by going to redcross.org/ESPN, and you can also help locally here in College Station. This Monday, September 4th, there's a blood drive at the Hall of Champions right across the street from Reed Arena at Kyle Field from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And I think, Chelsea, everybody's been moved about what we've seen here in terms of how Hurricane Harvey has affected this part of Texas.
Well, so many people who live here in College Station either have family members or friends that live in a city that was affected by Harvey. And so in some form or fashion, you were probably touched by it. And it's been amazing. The community between Texas A&M and Bryan and College Station, the way that they have responded with donation drives and collections and fundraisers, all going back to the victims of Harvey. And obviously this is going to be an effort that will have to continue for many, many months, maybe even years, to get Houston and those other cities back on their feet.
Well, our thoughts are certainly with all of those dealing with the after effects of that storm. And there are a couple of Texas players on the Penn State roster as well, and we hope that their families are safe as well. Back to volleyball. Penn State now with a 6-point lead here in set number 2. There's a point from Texas A&M, and if this is the time they needed it, it's right there, because they're hitting right now in terms of comparing it from the first set to this one is way down.
Yeah, right now they're hitting 0. So they just got out of the negative numbers with that kill by Caitlin Blake. And Texas A&M has got to find that rhythm again on offense. A lot of it, as we mentioned, starts with serve receive. But right now you've got McGee, Sanders, and Blake in the front row for Texas A&M. And that's going to be that's the best front row they have available. So this is where Texas A&M is going to have to change that momentum and try to get some points in this rotation.
Penn State's got a pass, and they did on that one as Haley Washington gets a kill, only her second one of the match.
And a lot of times when you have hitters as big and explosive as Washington, you kind of lose sight of your setter. Watch this set by Weiskircher. She kind of picks it up right off the top of the net, puts it in the perfect spot for Washington. Behind every great hitter, there is a great setter.
That's right. 15-9, the lead now by Penn State. Hands will go out of the back row and almost paints that back line. We may Lori Corbelli may challenge this one, and I don't blame her if she does. It's hard to tell from here, and she is going to want to take a look at that last shot. Holland Hands attacked out of the back row. It looked like a very close call on that one. We're going to take a look at it here. And the rules of replay are the coach dictates when they are. They don't have a limit on how many they can challenge, but they can get 3. I take that back. They get 3 challenges. And it is in terms of how it goes. There you see the rules.
So coaches have 3 challenges per match. It does not have an effect on timeouts like in football per se.
That's what I meant. Yes.
Reviewable plays. If the ball lands in or out, which is what we're reviewing here or what the referees are reviewing. If the ball made contact with the player, net violation and foot faults are also available for challenges.
So here's the shot that they're looking at is Holland Hands hit a shot out of the back row, and they are going to reverse the call and call it in. Take a look at it for yourself. Right there, and that angle doesn't show you exactly what they saw on camera unless that's the angle they were using to take a look at it. But either way, the down referee at the table reversed it.
Point Holland Hands, but point Lori Corbelli to be aware enough. I mean, she can't see the ball all that well from where she is either, but she trusted enough that ball was in. A good challenge.
That ball floats out on the serve, and A&M again feels like that was another missed call.
That line judge is sure being tested over there. They went right back to him. And
Coach Corbelli is standing, and we're going to see if she's going to challenge 2 plays in a row. I don't think I've ever seen that one.
Again, she has 2 more available.
She's going to talk to the down ref about this one before she may decide to challenge it.
And I think she's probably a little perturbed because it's the same line judge who had just made the call, which they overruled, and then they just made a back-to-back call of, again, out. So that's what I think she wanted to talk and see.
Well, that's unfortunate considering they won the challenge before, and then this serve is questionable again. And again, we can't see it from our end. But Penn State now up by 6. Sanders with the swing. Nia Reed, and what a great touch she just put on that ball.
She was really far off the net, Casey, and she did a nice job of kind of slowing her arm swing down. It was almost a roll shot from the 10-foot line, but because of that, it landed right in front of A&M's defenders, and it goes in for the kill.
Well, Penn State continuing to open up this lead here, taking advantage of some A&M errors and just playing better volleyball this set. Holland Hands puts an exclamation mark on that swing, her 6th kill.
And that's what you need right now if you're Texas A&M. You need a point and you need a big hit from the sophomore on the outside right through that big old hole in the block. Penn State's got to close that up or Holland Hands is going to keep taking advantage of it.
Franti takes advantage of it, and A&M thought they got the dig on that one, and so that was an inadvertent whistle by the up ref. A&M did get the dig.
Allie Franti thought that ball was down. It looked like it may have even gone off Gabby Litwin's foot. But either way, the referee blew his whistle a little too quickly, and so we're going to have a replay.
Off the block, another dig by Texas A&M. Free ball coming for Penn State. Washington running the slide. So A&M continues running most of their plays in this set out of system. Meanwhile, Penn State is making some great plays on those first passes off of hits, and they're running most of theirs in their system.
Allie Franti is really turning it on. That's her 5th kill of the day. She's hitting 400. She's been a little overshadowed by Simone Lee's performance, understandably so, but she's been the one that's really kind of tried to fire up the rest of her teammates.
Holland Hands is going to be blocked, and there you see more emotion coming from Nia Reed and Heidi Thielen for Penn State.
Reed has done a really nice job. She's, kind of a quieter player. She's a redshirt junior, and she has really stepped into this role as Penn State's other right side and done a very nice job.
3 kills tonight for Reed. Sanders is going to go wide on that one. A&M really aiming for that cross-court shot a lot.
They're aiming and they're forcing, which is why they're making some hitting errors right now. They realize Penn State's block is big and steady, and so they're working too hard to get around it, which you have to do, but you've got to keep the ball in the court.
Penn State not giving any of that line to Texas A&M here tonight. Holland Hands goes off the block for the kill. Good move by her.
And that's a good answer. That's the correct answer to that big block. Go high off the hands, try to get the tool, and that's exactly what Holland Hands did on that last play.
See a great pass from Penn State on that serve receive. Nia Reed is blocked by Holland Hands. Not really one of her strengths usually as an outside hitter. Her and McKenna Patterson teamed up for that one.
Nice swing block, getting her hands back over the net, closing it with Patterson.
And A&M with another serving error, and that continues to be it. But if you're going to miss a serve, and you being a former coach know this as well, you want to miss it deep.
Absolutely. When you miss in the net, you don't even give the other team a chance or a decision to make. It's a free point. When you miss long, deep, or even wide sometimes, you at least are forcing the other player to make a decision.
No serve error is a good serve error. Camille Connor, though, with a great... She almost had eyes on the side of her head right there to see that over top.
Penn State is losing Camille Connor. Ali Franti doesn't even go up and contest this ball. And it was pretty obvious that Connor was going to send it over. And you kind of saw Franti after that with the realization on her face. Okay,
she's in the front row.
I've got that. Yep, exactly.
Another great pass off a tough Texas A&M serve. And how about the passing of Kendall White and Libero for Penn State on these last few plays?
It took Kendall White a couple of sets last night to really get in her rhythm, but once she did, she was passing absolute nails. It's taken her even less time tonight. We are seeing some really, really good serve receive from the libero for Penn State.
Holland Hands with maybe one of the hardest hit balls we've seen from her in the back row.
It looks like Simone Lee over there on the other side. She absolutely flies, and it goes right off of Franti's shoulder, and she kind of goes, oh, man, I was there. I was in the right spot. But, yeah, great hit. So much power.
Another great pass, but Texas A&M is there for the block, and don't look now. But our lead, Penn State's lead, is now down to 6 over A&M here in set number 2.
And there's Lee, the best hitter on the night between both teams, getting blocked by Caitlin Blake and Camille Connor on the outside. And Penn State's going to want to take a timeout as Texas A&M starts creeping back.
Penn State, as we mentioned, part of the Big Ten, and you can't deny the power that that conference has in terms of their rankings, especially right now in the latest ABCA poll.
Penn State, number 5. They're right behind Minnesota. But again, Penn State beat Stanford last night, so we'll see if they creep up in those rankings next week. Wisconsin, Nebraska, Michigan, Ohio State, Purdue, Michigan State, all in the top 25. Talk about a powerhouse conference.
And they all play each other. And, you know, I mean, just talking about the NCAAs, Nebraska's who knocked Penn State out in the region semifinals a year ago.
Which is exactly why Penn State doesn't mind playing Stanford twice in a week, because they're going to face that kind of competition week in and week out during conference. So they might as well see that and get some different looks before they even start conference play.
Well, both of these teams right now in a tough fight in terms of what they're going to do here. We talked about A&M. When you look at their first set hitting versus, and really both teams have not played as well as they did in the second set versus the first set, especially when you look at their hitting percentage.
I think you finally saw some adjustments by the defense, and then you also saw the blocking increase, which started getting into the hitters' heads. So then hitters had to start saying, okay, well, do I tip? Do I roll shot? Do I go around the block? Therefore, we saw some more hitting errors, and you saw less kills per contact.
Camille Connor has 4 blocks from Texas A&M. The setter, freshman setter, has 4 blocks. And then for Penn State, you've got Heidi Thielen with 3, Abby Dietering with 3 as well. So there's where you're blocking, but I do believe you're right. Both teams have made adjustments in terms of where they're positioning their defense behind their block, which has allowed more digs on these swings. A&M trying to climb back in this second set. Another great pass, but that swing by Thielen goes wide.
This was a beautiful setup for Penn State. Thielen had the opening around the block, but again, knowing that she does have Caitlin Blake in front of her, she forced it around the block, and it was just a little too far.
This time, Penn State attempts to dump it over, and I think Caitlin Blake knows she shouldn't have done that.
It was a really great dump, and it would have probably landed on the ground had Blake not touched it. But at the same time, that's not the right play as a middle blocker. If it's a little bit softer and you can throw it back down on the other side, but not a good touch there by Blake.
Dietering sends that one back over. So does Connor.
Great up by White.
Nettles is going to get this one for the Aggies. McGee, a low set. Dietering off the net a little bit. Short set to Blake.
Weisgert with a great defense.
McGee again for the Aggies, and she goes down the line for the point, and great defense and passing going on for both teams.
Kiara McGee with a huge swing on the outside. Her shoulders stay cross court, and she is able to turn that ball down the line so well, and she had the opening. Penn State gave her the line, and she took it.
Penn State still 2 points away here from set point. Camille Connor is going to give them one more point toward that, so it is set point here now for Penn State. Zabby Dietering will go back for the Nittany Lions.
We'll see how Dietering serves. Again, one of the better servers on this Penn State team, but hasn't had a lot of success.
Plays it safe with that serve, and Kiara McGee takes advantage of it.
Kiara McGee hitting from the right side in that particular serve-receive rotation, and we've seen success from that rotation by getting it to McGee on the right side.
So Penn State, all they have to do is get a clean hit over the net, down to the ground, and they'll take this second set. Simone Lee, and that's exactly what you do. You go to your leader in kills. That's her 12th kill. And Penn State takes set number 2, 25-19. We are all tied up at one set apiece. We'll be back with set 3 here in just a minute.